Speakers, please.
Yeah, the list covers both items 1 and 2. Mr. Paul Valente, to be followed by Mr. Richard Shaw.
Good morning.
You're going to need to be right in front of one microphone or the other. There you go.
Okay. Good morning, Mayor, council members. My name is Paul Puente. I represent the Houston Gulf Coast Building and Construction Trades Council. And I'm here just to ask some questions in regards to this, tax abatement. A couple of them are, a lot of them were answered during the presentation. I think that was a great presentation. I think it's very, very well done, very thought out. I think both projects bring a lot of work to the industry. Some of our questions were there going to be prevailing wages involved? I know that these are projects that are privately owned, but at the end of the day, are we asking anything in return other than just giving? And some of that, and then how many of those projects are hiring those individuals from that district? So those are some of the questions that we have. And then, is there an educational component that's attached to any of these projects? I know that these are tax abatements, but our concerns have been, what are we getting in return? It's one thing to give these tax abatements, and I think they're great projects, and they're giving a lot in regards to the students getting affordable housing. I think that's great. I think that having a half and half on the development of the roads, I think that's great as well. But where's the community getting involved in this? Where's the return on the investment from them, or for them, excuse me? And those are some of the questions. The other thing is that on the residential, who sets the standard to say that what is affordable to these students? I mean, we're looking at high tuitions that are going across the roof, and then you have to pay for some apartments. And what says that that's affordable to them? And I don't know if we're looking into that or that's something that. And I'm not here to stop these projects. I want to make sure that this isn't a union thing, or I'm just here asking some questions because these are some concerns that we have that I'd like to have some kind of response to.
Thank you for acknowledging that these are good projects. They, as you could probably tell from the presentation, we're pretty stingy about our tax abatements.
Sure.
But directly, I'm going to ask Ms. Tillotson, on the issue of affordability for these, that's a federal standard, is it not, ma'am? Sure. No, you stop. There you go. Go ahead.
Okay. In terms of these are not classified as affordable housing projects. I think there's some very specific standard that our housing department has to adhere to when projects are marketed as affordable housing. These are market rate housing. It just so happens that the rental they're going to charge at this location is not comparable because of its location to the other two projects. But these are not intended to be affordable housing.
But they're below market.
They're below market.
So they don't meet the federal qualifications.
Right. And in terms of the existing units that the Fountain Residential has constructed are at 100% occupied on their first project, and it's 65% leased on the second project. So we recognize that there is a need for this type of housing to support the student population.
And do you know the answer to the prevailing wage question?
I do not. I can follow up.
Vice Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you for those questions, Paul. And I'm glad you brought them up because that's a question that I like to actually ask. And so I will be requesting to meet with someone from Halliburton to get that question asked. And I will get back to you afterwards.
Wonderful.
Ms. Tilson, can you set it up, please?
Yes, absolutely. I just got his business card.
No, with Halliburton, can you set up a meeting with us in my office, and I'll give information.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Robinson.
Thank you, Mayor.
Paul, I appreciate you being here, and I know your questions are really focused on some things that you're very passionate about, job training, trying to think about our workforce and jobs that are local, as you mentioned in your statement. I assure you that there are a number of us here at this council that are watching that very carefully and wanting to be sure that our programs are focused on bringing up those Houstonians and local folks that can benefit from the jobs program, be diverse in application to all the people of Houston. And I think your focus is well placed. I appreciate your comments today. As long as I've spent as a professional working on affordable housing, I will tell you that I know that that term is one that is very dynamic in nature, very subject to perspective, as well as biases across the nation with regional, temporal, and subjective factors. So there's a lot of things that we have to be careful about. I think any definition is about as good as one's perspective on it. And I think in this case, you bring up a very good point, but how it relates to the current program is something we all have to keep in mind when we're trying to house those students, young people, and those that we're trying to target in affordable programs. So I'm with you in this, and want to continue to work with you to promote housing of your appropriate stock in Houston.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Councilmember Boykins.
Hey, Paul, thank you very much. I like your comments. You were right on point. You probably, I'm sure you're aware that I've created, and I'm going to do more of it in the spring, a Second Chance Jobs program.
Yes.
And part of that ties into creating training and opportunities for people in communities, in particular with projects of building. Working with the private sector to make certain that as they receive credits and different things from the city, that a percentage of their labor workforce is designed to help people in the community develop a skill, regardless if they made mistakes in the past, even ex-felons, non-violent ex-felons, to develop a trade and a skill to take them off an unemployment roll to employment. But you're reinvesting in your area. We did it with the pipe iron store. We had a construction company that came in, they got the contract, they received some CDBG dollars, and they came in, built the store with people within the area, and now they have hired 43 people that walk to work from the community.
Wonderful.
So that's kind of, and in January, in the spring, I look forward to really push that even on a larger scale. And I'm letting you know, and Richard Shaw and my other friends know that that's important. I think when these contractors come in the community, we can change the unemployment approach to neighborhoods. And so that's important to me. So thank you for what you do. And this project, you have my commitment, because this Councilmember Gallio's district and mine, that he and I both will visit with the general contractor to see what can be worked out.
Absolutely. Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Okay.
Councilmember Gallegos.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you, Paul, for being here this morning. And like Councilmember Boykins just mentioned, this project, I'm glad to hear that you're not against the project in the sense that this can be a win-win situation in the sense that this project will provide housing for students that need assistance, so that's a plus. And I will work with Councilmember Boykins and myself with the developer to make sure that the MWB goals are met. And I can also, of course, keep in touch with you to see exactly what other issues need to be addressed, and we can work with the developer to address those issues.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, I want to be able to have communication with you all and to kind of bring our concerns to you, and then have you talk to the developer and say, look, these are some of the concerns from the community. Because when you see me, don't see me as an individual. I represent the working men and women of the city. And what I'm trying to do is convey their wants and needs and concerns to you all. Because I don't have time to come here and talk to you all. I mean, they're at work. They're building these buildings out here. But sometimes when things are, these tax abatements, there's some questions that we have that aren't necessarily asked or not even thought of. And not to say that I know everything, right? Thank you.
Councilmember Martin.
Yes. Appreciate you being down here today. We do these types of deals, and specific to the Halliburton deals all the time. Unfortunately, we lost Schlumberger to Sugarland. Unfortunately, we lost ExxonMobil to the North Montgomery County part of the city, so we weren't able to capture those tax dollars. I find it a little ironic considering the fact 3 weeks ago, this body passed a significant wage reduction on our own security guards at the airport to the tune of moving them from about $14.75 to $11.25. Nobody here was on the outside speaking on behalf of those individuals. So I find this conversation a little bit ironic.
Well, you know,
Nothing to you.
Sure.
No, absolutely.
I got you.
But last 3 weeks ago, those folks look more like you than me. They're predominantly African-American, Hispanic workers. And when we talk about wages and a fair wage, $11 isn't a fair wage. Moving them from $14.25 to $11 is insulting.
Yes, sir.
I said it then and I said it now.
Point of order, I spoke up for that.
Yes, sir.
I just
I
got.
definitely spoke up for that.
Council members, to recognize all of you.
Matter of fact, I voted against it.
Mr. Poinson, thanks for, council members, appreciate you. Mr. Puente, thanks for coming down, appreciate you, and thanks for what you're advocating for. And I think it's always good if we could insert this into negotiations up front. I think as a matter of policy, it would be good to make sure we do incorporate that and perfectly bring the labor perspective to the table and negotiate for prevailing wage and other things we want up front for the quality and standards, and to make sure that we're including that. So administration's coming to an end, but there's always the next administration, and I hope going forward it could be a matter of policy when we're looking not only at tax abatements, but 380s.
Thank you. Thank you all for what